welcome back, Juventinita, to the Juventinita Back to Black and White podcast. My name's Daniel Anigro, and I'm live from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And today we're going to be going over the preview of Juve and Barcelona, which is going to be happening tomorrow. And I hope you guys can enjoy this preview. We have a special guest, and for the second time on the podcast, we bring in a guest that isn't a Juve fan. So not only do we bring the voice of any Juve fan who wants to come on, but we diversify even further by hearing what the opponent is thinking, respectfully at least. Guys, thank you for all the support. I just want to bring that up at the beginning. You know the channels: YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Google Podcasts. Subscribe, thumbs up, smash the thumbs up, and let us know what you think and what I can improve on. Now we're finally getting back into rhythm. We're getting the previews. We're getting the post matches up to date. So let's get on with it. So obviously I post the interview with Davide from Juve Daily, and on the video, which was obviously shot a while back. Unfortunately, I got lazy. I needed some motivation, and I finally posted it yesterday. So while that was posted, which is getting crazy numbers, thanks Davide again, someone Barca Daily messaged or posted a comment in the comment section, and we kind of linked up, and now I've obviously invited him on because I think it'd be cool to hear what's going on with the Barca world and to get his opinion about tomorrow's game. And we linked up, so that's the way I like it. If you guys want to come on the podcast, drop a line in the comments, DM me on either Instagram or Twitter, and we'll get you on here. We'll get your opinion out there. We'll get your stories. So again, without further ado, Rami from Windsor, Ontario, a fellow Canadian. That's great to have you on.
Hello, everybody.
So Rami, what we usually go ahead.
From Barca Daily on Instagram.
Don't worry. We'll get into that. Yes, like I said, Rami's from Windsor. And again, what I keep forgetting to do at the beginning of all these episodes is perfectly what you did. So at Barca_Daily1, correct?
2 underscores.
2 underscores. Guys, don't forget 2 underscores. And obviously, yeah, exactly. And then obviously your YouTube channel as well.
Rami Games.
So guys, check them out. Great content will be in the future. And when we look at the second game, I'm definitely going to be, checking in and seeing what he's got to say about Barcelona. It's great to have another content creator on. And I think this channel is pretty new, or at least your Instagram account is pretty new for you, Rami, correct?
I made it about last week, and I have over 70 followers. So.
Hey, there you go, man. Not bad. I mean, in week 70, that's not bad. I'm only at about 100 on Insta, so guys, follow. But anyways, that's great to hear. It's great to have you on. What I like to do at the beginning of every episode is kind of ask how someone became a Juve fan, or what their experiences, how they grew up. Obviously, I'm not going to ask you that question because you're not a Juve fan, but just kind of give context. How did you become a Barca fan? I know you're a young kid like Davide. You guys are the same age. So give us some details of how you became a Barca fan, maybe who your favorite players are, what attracted you to the club, stuff like that.
So I became a Barcelona fan when I was in first grade. So I was 6 years old, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I was living in Jordan for 2 years. So I lived there from 2011 to 2013.
Okay.
I was originally born in Iraq.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So I lived in Jordan for 2 years. On the first year, I went to school, and the kids were talking about Barcelona and Real Madrid. And I was like, huh? Who?
Yeah.
So basically my friends were like, oh, be a Barcelona fan. And then the others were like, no, be a Real Madrid fan. I was like, no, I'll be a Barcelona fan.
Well, that's good. I mean, like I said, I think what I've said in the past is you have, two giants that are so well positioned in terms of like marketing and global presence. So I'm not surprised that a lot of kids these days, and I mean they win a lot of titles. I mean, you look at the run that Barcelona had, you look at the runs that Real Madrid has had as well in the Champions League. So
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. Like I said, no,
es-
none.
especially
Oh, go ahead.
especially in the Arab countries, the two teams that
Yeah,
they like are the Barcelona and Real Madrid.
yeah, yeah, and I think teams like Juve and obviously other bigger teams. I think that's something that we definitely have to improve on. The outreach, and that's how you're getting your money. Fans buying jerseys, stuff like that. And then you can move up and sign better players, and you know how it works. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's great to hear. And I mean, it's great to have fans from, obviously, like you said, you're in Canada now, but we've had fans
yeah,
from all over the world. So thankfully you're in Canada because the time's a lot easier for me. But no, it's
yeah.
definitely.
It would have been
Oh yeah, I've had a few of those where I've either been in the morning, or it's either been early morning, or I'm at night and they're in the morning. So we've usually I leave those for the weekend is what I usually do. But yeah, it's, again, like I said, welcome to the show.
thank you for
And
having me.
yeah, no worries. Let's get into a couple news headlines. The big thing for Barcelona, the whole board,
Barcelona,
yeah, yeah, the whole board
I
resigns,
I
and
am really happy.
yeah, so that's what I wanted to get your opinion is. We get the board resignation, which also includes the president Bartomeu, and that's the day before, obviously, this game. So, I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, there's been a lot of talk on social media. We see a lot of fans that are displeased. In terms of Juve fans, it's kind of a mixed bag as well. I mean, a lot of Juve fans give Agnelli a lot of credit, which I do as well. But there are a lot of fans that not take digs, but they have some criticisms. They've seen some things that we haven't liked in terms of our legends, and in terms of how the team's being run, which kind of players are being bought, which all stems from the top. But again, I want to give you your time and kind of explain to Juve fans out there what was really going on, and kind of why you were so happy that he's gone.
The way he treats the players, I feel like the way he kicked out Suarez wasn't very nice. And there were comments from Messi, Neymar, that Daniel was saying that the way they treated Suarez was like a very, very bad way.
Yeah.
Um,
So in
I
terms
mean,
of transfers, what was it really a
oh
big
yeah.
factor, or do you
I
think?
mean,
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, for you, it's a very good thing because he sold Arthur for Pjanic.
So what were your thoughts
Now,
on that? So were you totally
no,
against that?
no, absolutely not. I mean, Arthur's 23,
Yeah,
good, has a good future. Pjanic is good, but he's 30.
right. Yeah, I agree.
And
I
also,
I, I think the money wise, obviously Barca got a little bit more, just in terms of, again, they were inflated amounts, but in terms of what we call plus valenza, which is uh, how the accounting works for club teams. But in terms of, yeah, I would agree 100%. It didn't really make sense. I know Barca was kind of crippled in terms of racking up a lot of debt in the club, financial debt, that they had to
I
clear.
think, I think, I think I could, Barcelona has 700 million in debt currently.
Yeah, I know, and it's crazy to hear that, but it's a tough time for all clubs. I mean, I think Juve has about 300 some and change. I got to see what the new details are in the financials, but when their financial statement comes out. But yeah, it's been crazy to hear that kind of number floated around. And again, that all lies on the president, because he's supposed to be watching over your club, and being able to determine how spending is going. And you look at that Griezmann deal, which was like 140 million, I think it was, just
Yeah,
ridiculous.
and look, it's safe to say that he was a flop last
Yeah,
season. And this season, I think he played against Getafe, and he didn't do that good.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I really liked him when he was at Atletico Madrid.
He was really good.
Briefly to say that I've followed Atletico since I want to say it was against Chelsea when they won 4-0 in the Super Cup. So I do follow La Liga, from time to time. A little bit less now with the podcast. I'm a little more Juve focused, but I do have an affinity for Atletico Madrid. They're kind of my second team out there. But yeah, it's night and day from how he was playing. But yeah, no, let's see what happens because you know Leo Messi was kind of holding the team hostage and he was trying to go, and then finally I guess he gets his wish and the president's gone.
Yeah. I think the main reason Bartomeu quit was because of Messi.
So okay, so that's yeah. I mean, such a big player, to lose him next year would have been, and I think this is kind of moving towards him not leaving. That's kind of my thoughts. That would be my thoughts on it because, you get this massive shakeup. I'm not sure if they're going to get money injected or not. I don't know necessarily how it works at Barcelona, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a retool and Messi signs a long deal or probably a deal to end his career. It would be shocking to me if he did end up leaving for free and they literally just got rid of their whole board. So we'll wait and see.
I think Sergio Busquets, Jordi Alba, Coutinho, Messi, Sergio Roberto, they all declined any contract.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's a big statement when no one's signing an extension. So we'll have to see, obviously, what happens after this season, right? Or during this season, if there's any, negotiation talks or whatnot. But I mean, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I hope that in January we do some good business.
Yeah, I mean, see like I said, it's tough for everybody because the money's not there. No one's in the stadium in Italy, for instance. They're closing, the stadiums again, so they're not going to even be able to have 1,000 people, or even I believe it was 20,000 or 30,000 was going to be allowed in the stadiums. That was obviously set by UEFA, but yeah, it's going to be crazy to see what happens in January and even the coming transfer windows because again, money is tight. It's tough. You're going to have to sell players, swap players, do the kind of deal that Barcelona, Juve did with Artur and Pjanic. But yeah, that's crazy. So that was obviously point number 1 on my list. Point number 2. Go ahead. Finish her off.
The other business that he did that was bad was Rakitic. 2 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
2 years ago, he was like a transfer bid for 90 million. He declined that. Now he's holding for 1.6 million.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. Yeah, that's and then they wonder why they're losing money and the money's not there. That's unfortunate, but yeah.
And there's like a young defender named Jean-Claire Todibo.
Yeah. I think we're in on him. I think at one point, maybe a couple of years ago, but
he is now 2 years on loan to Benfica.
Yeah.
He's a very good defender. He has a lot of talent, and we give him out on loan. It's just bad.
Yeah. So again, we don't know when the ship's going to be steadied, but maybe it's a good thing for Juve tomorrow. But I mean, we'll have to see if there's any extra motivation or not. But yeah, no, it's weird in world football. It's like things are, you look at even Manchester United and other clubs they're having difficulty, and I think that's why they're kind of hinting at this European Super League, is because they know that the money is going to be like a lot higher than what maybe at Premier League level or higher, but to have all these teams and all the eyes, like it would be a lot of money being put in there. So I'm guessing that's why teams are looking.
I don't exactly know what that is, so could you explain that to me? Because like
Yeah.
I was
So
stuck on it, but like I'm
so
not really following.
essentially, they just want to like. There's been a few ideas tossed around like over the past few years. Like it's come up in waves, right? Like you'll hear about it, and then it'll get denied, and then it'll go away, and now it's kind of resurfacing. The reason why I think it's resurfacing now is because a lot of teams are losing money. A lot of teams, they're trying to look for new avenues to get people like eyes on the screen, eyes on TV, more revenue. And they're finding that to play, in the leagues, you're kind of unless you're in the Premier League, you're not getting that big TV deal. Like I know Real Madrid and Barcelona get a good chunk of the La Liga piece. Um,
Yeah.
but like for Juventus and other clubs, the deals aren't as high. So when you can combine, and like I said, this would be, in my opinion, ruining all world football, European football. There'd be no Champions League anymore. There wouldn't be anything like that. I mean, who knows
Oh,
what would
really?
actually happen? But it's essentially scrapping Champions League and all of, let's say, the most historic and best teams in a league that you would play essentially like American or Canadian sports. You'd have a season where every team would play each other, obviously once at home, once at away, and then you'd go into like a playoff format. I don't know if it'd be like 1 through 8 or 1 through 6, whatever it would be. Like again, the details are still to be sorted out if it were to happen. But again, you have in all these big teams, PSG, you have Man City, Man U, probably in there, Liverpool in there, Barcelona, Real Madrid, probably Juventus, Milan, and maybe Bayern,
Champions League.
Dortmund, stuff like that. But that would essentially be the league, which would ruin all these other kind of like national leagues, right? So, anyways, go ahead, boss.
Okay. Uh, yeah. So the last thing that Bartomeu accepted was playing in that league.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, so he said today that I accept him playing that league, and then like he said it, but then I'll resign. So that was like his last decision that he made.
Yeah, I mean, it was with an American. I think it's with American banks, and the two, Liverpool and Man U have been kind of discussing it. I mean, who knows? This has gone. This has gone the same kind of way before, where you hear all this news and then it goes away. So we'll see what happens. In terms of, like I said, the second point, big news. Obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo will not be playing against Barcelona as he tested positive in 2 tests today. Um, I honestly didn't really want him to play, to be quite honest. There's too much at risk. One, is he fit enough? Some people are saying, yeah, he's a super freak, whatever. To me, I don't think he's at that level. And I also want to say that what's the point of if there's if the test was wrong and he still is positive, you start infecting all these players, they start going around, you're not going to know for a little while. And that's really going to constitute him shutting everything down again. And I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. Especially when we have a team that should be good enough, that should be strong enough um, to be put on the field. I mean, look at the wage bill. I think Juve has been, fortunate enough to have players that we can, move around, and I think we have enough to still win the game. Even, I mean, like I said, the narrative would be nice to see Ronaldo versus Messi, but it's not like this is a one-off. There's still going to be a game in Barcelona at the end of December,
Yeah.
so it's not like it's not going to ever happen. So we'll still get to see it, guys. Best err on the side of caution, and go from there, right?
Um. Yeah. So there's still a match at Camp Nou to play.
Yeah.
You live with Barcelona,
Yeah.
so
So,
it's like
go
so it's
ahead,
not the
boss.
end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, it's to me, it's not worth risking. I don't know how fit he is. I don't know how match fit he is, which is a completely different. When you're in the zone, when you're playing these games week by week, you're a little bit more intent. He's been on his own, probably doing his own training regimen. So I don't know. I just didn't think it was worth it. I know they probably want to do it for obviously eyeballs on the TV, views,
Mhm.
stuff like that. But really, it's unfortunate for us, but we'll have to make do with it. Obviously, talking about the referee, Dutch referee Danny McKelly is going to be officiate the game at the J Stadium, and he was at the away game. Obviously, Juve Atletico Madrid 2-2 last year. What other news? There's been talk about a whole bunch of different lineups, which we'll get into. Obviously, we know that Cuadrado, Demiral, and Danilo are possibility to start according to Tutto Sport.
Yeah, because
Oh, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
Juve they have. I saw like on the app, they have Alexandro injured,
Yep.
Chiellini, Bonucci, and De Ligt injured.
Well, yeah, that's good you brought that up. So essentially, what's happened is they've done the testing. Bonucci obviously went off in the last game against Hellas Verona, which we drew, and they did the test. Obviously, everything came negative. No muscle injury. I mean, again, take it with caution. What I think is going to happen is, from what a lot of sources are also saying, they are going to try and push him back to get into the lineup. So again, we'll talk about the lineups in a couple of minutes, but that's essentially could be a possibility. There's been a lot of speculation across the newspapers in Italy of what's actually going to happen, which is kind of funny. They talked to, obviously, in an interview with Del Piero on Sky. He obviously advised Pirlo to use a 4-2-4, which I know has been making heads turn with the Juve fans out there. But guys, don't worry. It's essentially a lot of these formations. A lot of fans make
So
mountains
four
out of
defense,
molehills. Well, think about it
four
like this.
defensive,
It's essentially a 4-4-2, right? Yeah. But essentially
4-4-2,
it's looking
but
like a
it's
4-4-2, but you can they're more attacking. I mean,
I'm not a huge fan of that formation.
yeah, I mean it's it's something that
There needs
Juve
to be
used to do in the past a while. Like I'm talking probably before you were born. But yeah, so 4-4-2-4 is something that really is going to be interesting to see if he does heed that counsel, but I don't think so. I think we're too caught up in this three at the back. But yeah, 4-2-4 is what Del Piero, obviously with Chiesa on and Kulusevski on the right and left. I do think Kulusevski should start. Just unbelievable game against Verona, who really added a lot and was kind of really one of the only reasons why we're even as close as it was. So I think I'll hope to see him in the lineup. Some other news. Obviously, Chiellini is, like you said, doubtful. McKennie, again, another possibility. Gazzetta dello Sport. McKennie could be an option for defense. I mean, I don't know.
Like an American for them and like an American for FC
Yeah, I know it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And obviously, Agnelli was present at the training session, excuse me, and talked a little bit with Andrea Pirlo, which was noted. Another note for Juve fans: Fabio Paratici was fined €15,000 for threatening attitude toward the referee in the game. That's a possibility. For Juve fans, we got De Ligt could return against Spezia, so something to look forward to. Just talking about the interview, though, Pirlo said that McKennie won't play as a center back, obviously against Barcelona.
He's a midfielder, though.
Yeah. Well, see, if you've watched Juve in the past, we've also used central defensive midfielders as like a 3 at the back during a couple games when needed, notably against Atletico. Comeback 3-0. That was, kind of a masterclass where we had, Emery Chan kind of playing as a, yeah, we had Emery Chan helping out at the back, because I can't remember who was injured that game. It might have been Chiellini was out. So he kind of stepped up and really it was really effective. What else?
We're up. we have Ter Stegen injured.
Yep.
We have like Coutinho injured.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, it could
And
be again. It could be interesting lineup changes for both teams.
and PK is also suspended.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I know some fans,
Well,
Juve
I feel
fans,
like
were tweeting about it after last match week. But go ahead, boss.
the lineup should be. Well, do you want to get to that now or after?
In a couple minutes, we'll get there. We'll definitely get there. According to other reports, completely different mindset. Something that I've kind of looked at 4-4-2, or even some variations 4-2-3-1. But essentially, what was looked at is Cuadrado's right back, Danilo, Demiral, and Frabotta. Kulusevski, Bentancur, Rabiot, and Chiesa with Dybala and Morata up top. To me, that's the way I would go. Obviously, again, that's an opinion. It's going to be up to the coach anyways, but that's the way I would like to play. Obviously, it's going to be nice to see Pjanic back. The affinity he showed towards the club. The various things that he said at the end of the season is going to be, it's always nice to have players, but as much as, the Juve fans kind of got on him, but I think there was always kind of that mutual respect, even though it did seem like he wasn't up to standard. But again, thankfully we were able to make that move, and we have a player in our tour who again will not be playing tomorrow apparently because he played the full 90. So that could be a possibility as well. So guys,
he won't return.
no, I just think it's in terms of rotation is the reason why, and Bentancur I think is gonna slot in instead of Artur. Maybe he comes off as a sub. We'll have to wait and find out. But that's it really from the news side. Now, guys, if you're still watching, again, smash the subscribe if you haven't already. Smash the like if you haven't already. And please let us know in the comments if you've made it this far. It'd be great to still have you. And let's get into a kind of a topic that I wanted to discuss with you, Rami, because this year, with COVID and all this, the restarts and whatnot, kind of a one leg knockouts in Champions League. Bayern wins. It's going to be a crazy Champions League so far. You look at Real Madrid today, 6 minutes away from going 0-2, and being 2 losses into the group stage. Obviously, the first one was a loss against Shakhtar Donetsk, and today against Borussia Mönchengladbach. They were lucky, like I said, 6 minutes. I believe it was 87th and 90 plus 3 to tie the game, not even to win the game. So they tied. Dortmund loses to Lazio, which was shocking to me. Atletico was dominated by Bayern Munich, like massive score, 4-0. PSG also loses to a Man U team that really I wasn't really convinced, even though Man U has a lot of, I would say they have a lot of great players, but pieces.
But they showed it like in the league that they're not that.
Yeah, exactly. So I was surprised. I was surprised that PSG lost, and then you have Chelsea, Sevilla draw, and that's kind of what rounds up. But yeah, what has been your thoughts on this Champions League like craziness?
So far this season, again some crazy results. As we talked about, Real Madrid losing 3-2 and drawing 2-2. The PSG and Man U game really surprised me. Aaron Van de Sar played extremely well, and also Twan Debbie, I believe his name is.
Yeah,
he also played really well.
Yeah, and my buddy Jesse, who you'll see on the Champions League group stage preview that we did, we talked about all the groups. You'll definitely hear his frustrations and talking about his team, but it's just unbelievable. And then you look at the weekend that just passed, and Real Madrid beats Barca 3-1 in the El Clasico. and you're just like, what to make of this season? Like, is this where we're going to get a year of, a new team winning? Because it looks like there's been some shocking results already.
It's crazy.
So
Like you go from
yeah,
Real Madrid losing 3-2 to Shakhtar, to beating Barcelona 3-1, to drawing 2-2
yeah,
uh with Borussia Mönchengladbach. So it's
yeah.
strange.
So what were your thoughts on that game of the El Clasico? Because like I said, I unfortunately didn't wake up for that one. Didn't
Well,
necessarily have the time, but what were your
well
thoughts, obviously, on the loss?
for you it was, I believe, 8 a.m.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
say, yeah, 8 a.m.
for me it was 10. And so when I saw that they scored early on, I was like, come on, what is that? Like,
Yeah.
PK was very out of position. Um, but then Ansu Fati scored, and it was like a very, very good goal. I believe we should have gotten a penalty.
Okay.
So Messi was running, and Casemiro like he just tackled him, and I believe we should have been a penalty.
Ah, okay. So you thought that one was a missed call that could have, changed things up.
And
But yeah, go ahead.
um,
Sorry.
Messi did not even play that bad. He was
Yeah.
supplying some good balls, and he did have a shot on his right foot that he missed. Courtois saved it, so that was kind of like,
Yeah, one of the chances that, you would have been nice to have. Well, that's fair enough. I mean, like I said, it's been a weird year for both teams. Like I've said, it's going to be at the J Stadium, obviously October 28th, guys. For me, it's going to be at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 4, which is actually not a bad time to watch a game, to be honest. I think 9 p.m. in CEST. And let's get into the record. So obviously, Juve is 2-3-0, 2 wins, 3 draws with 9 points, 5th place in Serie A, and we're 4 off the top, which is Milan. Let's get into our Champions League record. Obviously, 1-0, 3 points with the win against Dynamo Kiev, tied for first with Barcelona. We have goal difference of +2, 2 goals, 0 against. Barcelona's record 2-1-2, obviously 7 points in 12th place, 7 off the
yeah,
top, which is Real Sociedad, and I believe Real Madrid is like 1 point behind them.
yeah.
And
I do believe that.
yeah.
Sorry, I believe if we win, we will be like in the top 7, maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So again, like I was saying, it's very, early. We're only 5 games in. I mean, anything can happen from now on. I mean, lots of games to be played. Lots of games. So these again are just prelim, but I wanted to go over them kind of to see. I mean, to see Barca in 12th this year is kind of, interesting to be. I thought they would probably have a better start, but same with Juve.
Last season, last season, the first 3 games were a loss, a win, and a draw.
Oh,
And
okay. So they, yeah.
so it kind of was the same slow start.
So you're not too surprised. Well, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Obviously, like I said, they have a 1-0-0 record in Champions League with 3 points tied for first. Goal difference
5-1.
of 4 and
Total.
5 goals for and 1 against. But like I said, troublesome start for both sides. I think there's going to be some growing pains and, getting used to COVID, getting used to the protocol, getting fit again, making, and the teams I think are getting better in the respective leagues. Now it's going to be whoever, is able to capitalize on all of those factors and put the best football out there is really going to be able to say if they can win the title or not in their respective leagues. Juve's top scorers, obviously Ronaldo and Morata, both on 3 goals. That's total. For Barcelona, Ansu Fati, who's
Yeah,
I believe 17 years old, correct?
the 17-year-old. He's amazing.
17-year-old, 5 goals already in both the obviously La Liga and Champions League, which is incredible tally for a kid his age. And yeah, we've again Barcelona's across the board. Messi only has 1 goal in each of Champions League and La Liga. Kulusevski for us at 2, Morata at 1, Bonucci at 1, and Morata with the
Uh,
2 goals in Champions League.
Messi has 2 goals, one in Champions League, one
Yep.
in La Liga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I might have said
So,
that wrong. That's
yeah,
definitely what I meant though. And then
so 2
again,
goals.
like I said, Barcelona has kind of a across the board scoring, whether it be Coutinho, Dembele, Sergio Roberto, Pedri, all have some goals, all have some contributions at the start of the season. Barca's form, draw, loss, win, loss. Juve's form, win, draw, win, draw. I don't know how much you want to look into that. That's up to you guys as the fans, but I mean, it's been a wacky season, so I don't know if we can really look into it this year as much as maybe I would in the past couple of years. Like you said earlier, Ronaldo's not going to be playing. Alexandro De Ligt is doubtful, but I doubt him playing. Chiellini, same thing. For Barcelona, Umtiti is injured. Ter Stegen and Coutinho with Piqué, like you said, again, suspended. But let's look into a little bit of the history. So obviously in 2015, we had that big final. Obviously for you guys, lucky that you guys won. It was very devastating for me. Being in the first final since 03. So it was a very big moment being 1-1 at one point.
I do believe there's a controversial call.
Yeah, exactly. So Dani Alves with the pull on Pogba.
Yeah, he pulled Pogba
in the box, and it wasn't obviously called. It didn't go our way, and then I believe it was pretty much just game over after that. Kind of Barcelona was too much for us. Yeah, and that's why I'm kind of with Juve fans, we've been talking about 4 at the back, 3 at the back. This is kind of why I don't like the 3 is, in that game, it was perfectly, how we were found out. The first goal was like within, I think it was 3-4 minutes into the game.
Yeah, 4 minutes.
See when you win, you know exactly when the goals are. When you lose, you don't try and remember any of that. But so yeah, I mean, you guys scored quick. You guys were dominating possession, playing quick passes and moving the ball quickly. But yeah, 3-1. You guys hoist the trophy. That was obviously June 6th of 2015. Now we get into April 11th, 2017. A lot happier times for Juve fans. 11th and 19th. 3-0. What a game for us in our home stadium. Exactly. Dybala 2 goals at the beginning of the game, really early, and that kind of there was no going back from that. Chiellini added a 3rd, and that really just determined the tie. I believe it was in the quarterfinal, that one. So we play. Oh, go ahead.
Actually, Barcelona came from a 6-1 win against PSG.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It was that year. Okay. So I just wanted to remember, I was trying to remember, I was like, okay, was it quarterfinal, round of 16? Well, because I knew it was knockout. And then obviously in Camp Nou it was a 0-0. But yeah, I mean, that was, and that's another year that we go to the final to play Real Madrid. Obviously, 4-1 loss. That was really unfortunate as well. I think even more unfortunate than the other one because I think it was pretty even at half, again, 1-1, and then just the wheels fell off the wagon.
The Mandzukic overhead kick.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my mind. I had a bunch of friends over. We were watching in the basement, and I just lost my mind. And it was pretty much me. I was the only one of my buddies. Kind of like he joined forces to like make me feel a little bit better. But the rest were all pretty much thinking that Real was going to win that game. And when Mandzukic scored, that was unreal. I could not believe it. We also didn't meet the following season in the group stage. And that was pretty much a domination from Barcelona.
Same exact scoreline.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But this time it didn't mean anything. Barcelona, I believe, got through to first in the group, I believe. And I do think we went second in that group. But yeah, I know different teams. Different teams completely.
They played Real Madrid in the quarterfinals.
Yep.
Yeah. Wearing.
All these great knockout that you're bringing up for all of our fans that are going to be listening to this. So it's pretty funny, but yeah, I know basically complete opposite. I know we got dominated in that first game 3-0 on the road, and then we couldn't really muster much at home. And I believe that home game was the last game or the second last game, I want to say.
It was the last game.
Yeah, so there you go. But yeah, no, pretty interesting history between the two teams kind of recently. And
I mean, if you want to count the Champions Cup match.
Oh yeah, I mean, I didn't look at that one. That one I definitely did see, but it's preseason is preseason.
Right now.
Yeah, no worries. But let's get into kind of the last game though. What did you think? Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
That was Neymar's last match, the one that we beat you guys 1-0, Champions Cup.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that you remember that. But last game in a few words. How was the game? Obviously, a pretty dominating performance for you guys, 5-1 against Ferencváros. I believe that was at home, correct? In Barcelona. So how did you? Obviously, you're going to be pretty positive about it, but what were the kind of the key takeaways for you?
Not that much positive because I was expecting not to concede, and at the beginning, first 20 minutes was all them.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They had an offside goal that was I would say disallowed. Then we got a penalty in the 27th, 28th minute, and Messi scored it. And after that, it was Antofati.
Yeah.
After that, it was Cristiano. Then they got a penalty, and PK shouldn't have done that. It was already 3-0. Just let them score, I guess.
Yeah, it was stupid. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess he's gonna miss this game, right? So that's kind of depending if you think it's unfortunate or not. I know some Juve fans were kind of pissed because they wanted to play against PK, but I mean, for us, go ahead.
So after that, so they scored 3-1, and then I believe Pedri scored. So that was good. Like a 17-year-old scored again.
Yeah, lots of young talent.
Yeah, and then Dembele scored, which was a surprise. So that was good.
Yeah, and I mean, off the mark. I mean, off of a glance from afar, I mean, 5-1 is no. But obviously, saying that they scored first technically was disallowed. But I mean, for us, Dynamo Kiev wasn't a slouch. I think the at the end of the day, the quality. I think the quality, ran through, and we just finally broke them down. But Dynamo Kiev, I think, played a pretty good game. Obviously, they were at home, so they were kind of feeding off the fans, and I believe they had about 20,000 fans or so there. They were allowed to have, so it was definitely nice to hear that. And but I think we were a level better. We had we just outclassed them, and we scored those two. Like you said, once you guys scored those goals, it was kind of the wheels fell off the bus, and that was it. So same thing for us. Not as big of a margin, but definitely decent win, and I was pretty happy with it. I mean, I'm not going to complain with a win. I think we've got a lot to improve, but let's see what happens, obviously, in this game. So now we can finally get to the formations. So from Sky Sports, I'm going to read what they've predicted. Again, this could all change tomorrow, whatever the coach decides. But at least for Juventus, Wojciech Szczesny in goal, Demiral, Bonucci, Danilo, Cuadrado, Bentancur, Rabiot, Kulusevski, Ramsey, Morata, Dybala, 3-4-1-2. Personally, I would rather go with the 4 at the back with Cuadrado, Demiral, Danilo, Frabotta. But again, that's going to be up to Pirlo to decide. Now, I didn't find any kind of pre-match previews of Barcelona's lineup. So kind of, bear with me. I'll say I'm just actually going to talk about their last lineup. I'm assuming Neto's going to be in goal. Dest Dest on the obviously playing a 4-4-2 before I get ahead of myself. Dest, Piqué, Lenglet, Alba, Busquets, De Jong,
Alba.
Pedri, Felipe Coutinho, Ansu Fati, and Messi, which was the lineup of El Clasico. So I'm
Wait,
assuming, yeah.
wait, the lineup for El Clasico was that, or was
4-4-2, no?
Neto, Dest, Alba, Piqué Longley, Busquets, De Jong, Coutinho, Messi,
Fat.
Pedri, and Fati up front.
Oh, okay. So like a 4-2-3-1 then.
Yeah, I'll
Kind
check right now.
Yeah, no worries. It must have been Score. Come on, Score. Get your formations right. But no, it's good. I kind of want to, because again, like you said, Coutinho is going to be
Yeah,
out.
like
BK is going to be
yeah,
out. So
4-2-3-1 it was.
okay, fair enough. So who do you see them sticking with that formation of 4-2-3-1, or who do you think replaces Coutinho and PK in your opinion?
PK, the replacement should be Araujo. He's a very good defender. He's young. He's good. For Coutinho, I would say the only option is Griezmann.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, there you go. You seem very happy.
Yeah, and Griezmann, not the best this season.
Yeah, even when I look at this lineup, it does look a little bit strange that Busquets is on the right side, but I don't know. I don't know what the score was on, but I just quickly put it in, and I did want to see who you thought was going to go in, but yeah. So I mean, again, we'll see what happens tomorrow when the official lineups come out and they start announcing. But then let's get into the keys of the match. Keys to the match, excuse me. So for me, it's pretty simple. Passing needs to be on point from the get-go from Juve. High intensity and press needs to be on. Make it difficult for Messi and Ansu Fati up top, as well as their defenders. Make sure we're pressing them. Like you said, there's going to be a young guy coming in, so probably try and pressure him, get a couple loose balls, and take advantage of that. But again, it's going to be for the defense. They need to stay cohesive. It could be a different unit. We don't know how well Bonucci's going to be. We don't know if he's going to be 100% or not. Again, we have Danilo, who's done really well this year, even though he's not a traditional center back. So we'll have to see what happens. Demiral, I think, is a talent that has been, has shown a lot of bright signs. To me, I know I get a lot of slack from Juve fans because I think he's a little too aggressive. Some of the tackles he's got to be careful that he makes. He goes into some rash challenges sometimes where, he's lucky that he made the right tackle and he gets the ball and there's no like foul, red card, penalty or anything like that. But that's something I think that he's got to fix. But again, very confident player, has done very well, and I hope to see him get time and improve on those aspects. But for me, it's pretty much those are going to be the three keys to winning tomorrow. And, hopefully there's some cohesiveness because there wasn't in that game against Verona. And you could tell the passing was sloppy. Dybala wasn't linking well. Morata and Ramsey and, the mids weren't really linking well. We'll have to see what happens in tomorrow. And we hope that we can improve on that because if we do get that, I think Juve have the advantage of, being able to put out a winning style and win tomorrow's game. How about for yourself, for Barcelona to win tomorrow?
Well, the defense has to be stable for us. That's been a problem last season, 8-2 against Bayern Munich. so it needs to be as I said, very stable.
Right.
Dest is amazing.
Yeah.
But from the El Clasico, Dest and Fati were like the best players on the field.
Yeah, very good. Very good players.
Yeah, he has to play like the way he did. We have to capitalize on the attacking side.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you're gonna be going up a little bit of a battered and maybe worn back line that's, losing pieces, like you said, with De Ligt being out, Chiellini being out. You're not necessarily having a lot of reinforcement. And Cuadrado, to me, I don't think he's a starter. I mean, who knows? He might get the start tomorrow, but to me, he's more of a bench player. And, that's a risk. I've noticed that when we had, Bernardeschi on the left and Cuadrado on the right, when either one of those lost the ball, it was off to the races, counterattack, and, very dangerous chances, even just against Verona. So it's we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see how everyone comes out to play tomorrow. Bentancur, I think it will add some good grit, some good playmaking ability, and I think he's got a lot to prove as he's kind of taken a back seat a little bit to Artur and even McKennie, you could say, when he didn't have COVID. And so now he's got a lot to prove. So we can see Rabiot is going to be in there as well. I think has improved quite a bit from when we started the restart last year. But yeah, let's get into those predictions now right away.
So
what we'll go with you first as the guest. You get to go first, but if unless you have something else you want to add in.
Yeah. Against Real Madrid in the El Clasico, the ball in the middle of the pitch was mostly played by Real Madrid. We barely got the ball like in the midfield area, so we need to keep the ball
along. Okay. So basically, they dominated the middle of the park. Okay, fair enough. Good point. Thanks for bringing that. But yeah, you go. You're the guest, so you go first.
I feel like it'll be a very entertaining game.
It determines how much further. It determines how much further this podcast goes, depending on what you say the score is. I'm just kidding.
It'll be 1-1.
Okay, who do you have scoring?
I would say for us, it'd be either Fati or Messi. And for Juve, I don't really know a lot of their attacking options, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But
well, I'll give you one. So I'm gonna go 2-1. I think it's gonna be a very close game. I think Messi's gonna score for you guys. But I think that's all we're gonna give you guys is that one goal. I think Dybala's gonna have a really good game again. I think he's gonna get both goals. I was thinking Morata because he's been on one.
Yeah. So I thought that Morata was gonna score for you guys.
So I think it's gonna be 2-1 Juve, Dybala, Messi, and when those we'll find out. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
And mine will be, as I said, 1-1, either Fati or Messi and Morata.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for those predictions. And let's get into some questions. I mean, a lot of people reached out. It's been a crazy day. And a lot of them are directed to you and have some interesting questions. So I thank you guys for asking them. And I hope you guys are still here to be listening to them again. Smash the like, smash the sub if you haven't already. But yeah, I'm surprised if you're here this long. I'd be surprised if you hadn't done those two already. Drop a comment, tell us what you think, what your thoughts on the show are. But let's get into these questions. James Martino, the best, at Jimmy_Stallion. I love that Twitter handle. He's got a couple questions for you. So obviously Messi's coming close to the end. Do you feel, I know there's been some rumors, but do you feel that Dybala is his heir, or is that just an agent floating that in the media, basically? So what do you think about Dybala coming to Barcelona? If that's a possibility, or if you see it? No? Yes?
I have not seen a single rumor, and I don't believe it will happen.
There you go. Pretty straightforward on that one. That's good. His second question, Juventinita are losing it during this transition. Obviously, like I said, we got rid of Sarri. Now we bring in Pirlo, who is maybe not as experienced. Obviously, you guys got rid of what's his name?
Cristiano.
Yep, for Ronald Koeman now. kind of, what are your thoughts on the transition so far between coaches? Is it night and day? Do you believe in Koeman?
Um,
What are your thoughts?
yes, I absolutely believe in Turam. Not many people know this, but the Netherlands national team, after the 2014 World Cup when they got third, they didn't do anything.
Yeah,
They didn't do good in the Euros.
yeah,
They didn't make the Euros.
yeah,
They
yeah,
didn't make the World Cup. They got Koeman in late 2017, and they reached the Nations League final. So
yeah. That's
that's a
true.
big
That's
factor.
true. That's a good point.
So
That's a good point.
so he changed the Netherlands team. I believe he can change FC Barcelona.
Awesome. I think for us, I think there's a lot of hope in Pirlo. I think there's a lot of questions with his inexperience, and but I still think it's TBD on, whether it's good or not. We'll have to wait and see. But always faith in the manager from me. But I think definitely some questions to ask, depending on what happens in this game and what's happened so far. Thank you, James. I appreciate it. Awesome, man. From at B Bobanov, Roma's Juventino. If you could take any Juve player to Barca, who and why? I'm gonna be shocked if you come up with with who you pick. Maybe Artur back. I don't know.
Um, a lot of people would pick Ronaldo, but I'm not going to choose Ronaldo. He's, I mean, he's 35, and we need defenders. We don't need attackers. Our attack is insane. Messi, Griezmann, if you feel, Coutinho, Dembele, like
Yeah, there's no need to. Yeah,
good. So these attackers are good. Midfield, Busquets is aging.
I kind of have I kind of have an idea of who I think you're gonna pick, but anyways, continue.
I think Aaron Ramsey would like he would look fit in Barcelona.
Really, Aaron? Okay, so you weren't gonna say Matthijs de Ligt?
He was a thought. He was a thought in my mind, but I feel like Aaron Ramsey.
Well, that's
I
good.
think
You can have him if you want to give us like 50, 60. I'll make the transfer right now if you want. I'll send him over to you right now. Not that I'm saying that he hasn't. He actually has been really good for us, but he's an injury prone player, and that's really been difficult. I mean, when he's good, when he's not injured, he's really good. But I mean, there's been a lot of injuries.
You can tell with his career with Arsenal, he was amazing. He just got injury after injury after injury.
Yeah, it's tough as a player to maintain, that momentum when you're always in the.
If the injuries don't exist, I'll take Aaron Ramsey.
Hey, good show. Good show. All right.
But with injuries and all these things, I think I have to agree with.
Yeah, no, that's the first thing I thought, because it's literally so many Barca fans in like our mentions, just like, oh, you wanted to come, this blah blah blah, stuff like that, and it's always funny back and forth.
Last minute,
yeah, no, I mean it was quite interesting that whole summer, how it actually happened, and I didn't think it was going to happen either, to be honest. I just thought it was too much money, and I didn't think Juve was going to be willing to spend, and then it ended up happening, and that was crazy. Let's get into the next question. Cameron or Cami Khan, sorry, buddy, for losing your account. His previous account got suspended, I believe. So at Cami Juventino right now. Obviously, we did the prediction, so thanks for asking, bud. But obviously, your favorite player that's played for both clubs. I know this might be, a little bit different because you are a young guy. But maybe let me get some names that I have a list that I brought here. So maybe unless you have one right on you, then you're gonna save me.
For FC Barcelona, it's quite easy, right? You got Messi,
Well, no. I mean, your favorite. Sorry, you asked who's your favorite player that's played for both Juventus and Barcelona. Obviously,
Only,
I would assume
only
your favorite player is Messi, but one that's played for
that
both
makes sense.
clubs.
That makes sense. Well, Daniel Alves.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the first one I have on my my list right here. We can go through. We'll talk about some others as well. Obviously, Gianluca
Yeah.
Zambrotta was huge
Oh,
for us
he was also huge, I believe, for 2006 Champions League final.
for Barcelona. Yeah, I mean, you've got to think about it, right? Like, obviously, Juve gets into the Calciopoli scandal. A lot of players exit, and yeah,
Oh
it
yeah.
was. He leaves in obviously 2006 after the World Cup, and yeah, it's uh, it's crazy. It's crazy, and then like you said, you get to the final, right? So again, a big name, I think, in Juve history. I'm not sure how big you guys think of him in Barcelona, but obviously another name, Vidal, huge player for us
Oh
in
him. Yeah.
in the first years of
He.
Juve coming back.
I was expecting him to do more for FC
Yeah,
Barcelona. He came in 2018-19. I mean, he did all right. Let's just
yeah.
say. And
Another name to discuss too. Maybe you forgot, maybe you didn't. Zlatan. I know again left after Calciopoli for Juve, and obviously you know about his problems with Pep, but yeah, but another
yeah,
big name player.
I don't really know what happened with him and Pep. What really happened? But
I think it was just they weren't on, we'll just say they weren't on the same page. You know, the personality that even seeing Ibrahimovic now, you kind of see his personality. And thank you for asking these questions to explain, because you know I know a lot of kids are like they think they know. Well, I probably think I know a lot more than I actually know, but you know how it is. But yeah, I mean, I think that's just really it wasn't two guys butting heads, and it just didn't work. Ibrahimovic thought he was a starter, and Pep obviously wasn't happy with him, and I believe benched him quite a bit. So he wasn't happy with that situation. Another big name, obviously, you might know in Danish football from Denmark, Michael
Aldrip.
Aldrip. Yeah, yeah. So another big name in both with Juventus and uh, and obviously Barcelona. And then we have a lot of, I think, other names. You have Lillian Turam, also was
Oh,
fantastic player
wait,
for
what?
us. Yeah, yeah,
Thuram
yeah,
played for. He he played for FC Barcelona.
yeah, yeah. I believe they picked him up right after, again, Calciopoli. Let me just confirm that. Might as well. I got the internet right here, so we might as well. But yeah, I believe it happened exactly. There was a lot of players that left Juventus. Yeah, it was only for about 41 games, so it looked like it took place over 2 seasons. But anyway, sorry, I was wrong about. We were relegated in 05. In 06, obviously Juve wins, but you guys obviously go to the final. It was going in my head. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
how did he get to Barcelona and was in that final? But yeah, so he left
yeah.
in obviously 05.
Yeah,
But
I was confused because you said the scandal was in 2006. I was like, but Barcelona won the
it
Champions League
feels
final.
like it was in
But
06 because right as that summer kind of was happening, it was, after so much that had happened, uh, it was, yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy year of dealing with, not knowing what's happening. Your team's in the limelight. You're hearing all these bad things. Players are getting, asked to speak in court about what was happening and this and that and testifying. And yeah, and then all of a sudden we, a lot of us are Italian that cheer for Juve. So, naturally we go into the World Cup and you're just like, what's going to happen with this team? There's so much turmoil. Is there going to be fighting? We have a lot of legends on that team. You look at the team from 2002, I think was stacked. One of the biggest robberies to not win a World Cup is that team, I would say. So many legends from Maldini to, Del Piero, Totti in their, proverbial
Maldini's
late to early. I would probably say, mid, like kind of just leaving their prime, but still on a very good technical level for some of those players. Because you look at the final the next year was obviously Milan and Juve. So you had a lot of those guys that were playing in that 02 World Cup. And I mean, to go out to South Korea, I don't even want to bring up those wounds, but yeah, there was a lot of great players on that 2002 team. But then now we get into 4 years later. Oh, go ahead.
South Korea, I think they had one of the biggest scandals ever.
Oh yeah. I mean, hey, I didn't want to say it because I'm probably getting shit for it, but yeah, no, biggest con jobs of world football, Spain, Italy, Portugal. Okay, well, we have one more question. Obviously from Iskander. Thank you, Iskander, for sending the question. Thank you, Cameron Khan, at Cami Juventino. And all the other questions at B Bobanov, at Jimmy_Stallion. James, thank you. But Iskander from Singapore, he's got a podcast, JSG podcast. Check it out, guys. I believe they've just had one episode out. I'm eventually going to get on there when we can set it up. Incredible job they've done with their fan base, their fan club, with the Juve Museum of all the jerseys they got in there. And, everybody, the old idea of everybody kind of pitching in, donating their memorabilia is unbelievable, and showcasing it off in the kind of clubhouse they have there, and just unbelievable. But Iskander asks, obviously at Juve Shaw on Twitter, guys, if you haven't added them, both teams are not achieving the result that has been expected from them. Are the opponents getting better, or the team is now lacking confidence due to, let's say, the pandemic situation or new players coming in? How do both fans kind of deal with it? So obviously, like you said, I know you said you weren't necessarily surprised with the start, but kind of give us your thoughts on, is it because teams are getting better? Is it because of COVID? New players coming in, maybe not making enough signings? What are your thoughts, Rami?
So my thoughts, like on the form so far.
Yeah, just what's your thought? Do you think maybe, do you think they're not achieving the results they are? Do you think they're kind of in the right spots? Maybe you do think they're I mean, I would assume you think they're supposed to be closer to the top of the table, but what are your thoughts?
We started off the season extremely strong, 4-0, 3-0 win. Then we drew to Sevilla. Okay, fine. Sevilla's a very good team.
Yep.
But then we lost to Getafe 1-0. That was like slightly surprising.
Yeah.
And then obviously the El Clasico, they won fair and square, I guess.
Yeah.
The penalty, it was supposed to be a penalty, but he was very overdramatic.
Yeah.
So it should have been a penalty, but again, he died like a different time.
Yeah. So for you, you're not necessarily worried going into obviously the later stages of the season. Obviously, still confidence in the team and what you guys are able to do, winning. You'd hope probably all the trophies you can, but so again, well, for me, I mean, I think one, in Italy, the teams are getting better. I think there's more push every year. It just seems to be getting a little bit more. Teams are spending a little bit more. They're getting a little bit smarter with their buys and who they're bringing in. And again, for us, we have to come back every year and prove something to win again and keep pushing. Where teams, they can.
I think that's like 9 years in a row you guys have won.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I can't believe we're already at this stage where we're 1 away from 10 wins in a row. It has not.
I do believe AC Milan is extremely strong this year. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, I
the guy,
mean,
the guy that's saving them is 39 years old.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy how well Ibra's doing, and for me, it's too. It's still too early to say, I would say. But again, like teams are going on, they have form. I know Milan just drew to Roma and it was kind of controversial, but kind of the decisions that had happened, some of the decisions that happened in the game. But for me, it's still early. There's still a lot of teams that I think Napoli, I did
yeah.
not expect to do as well as they did. They're doing. Atalanta's still up there. Milan's doing well. Who else is up there? I believe Sassuolo is up there as well. So I mean, some
I,
teams are going to drop, but go ahead,
I think
Rami.
I think Hellas Verona are eighth,
Oh yeah,
or so. You said Hellas Verona were like eighth or ninth.
yeah. No, they're about mid-table. You got teams like even Benevento and Spezia like 13, 14. So it's really going to be. I mean, I'm not saying those teams are going to go up, but they're collecting points. Roma's a little bit farther back than I think they would want to be. Same with Fiorentina at mid pack. Lazio definitely a little bit underachieving right now. But yeah,
I think
definitely. And you have Merda, which is code for Inter Milan. I like to call them merda, which means shit in Italian. If you don't know.
yeah, Davide always said that.
Yeah, so there you go. So literally they're up there as well, unfortunately, to say that. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Um and I think tomorrow's gonna be interesting. But thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on, Rami, and not being scared to have a conversation. Like I said, we
Mhm.
keep it respectful. We have a nice conversation. We talk back and forth. And I think yeah, it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. See which team shows up, which team's the better team, and who obviously takes the W. But for me, it's been a pleasure, and I hope that we can link up sometime in the future again. Maybe in the second game we'll have a chat again. And yeah, good luck with your content, guys. Check them out. Obviously, if you want to drop your links.
Oh, my Instagram is Barca 2 underscores daily one. My YouTube is Rami Games, and that's about it.
Check them out, guys. Obviously, for me, it's the same as always at Juventinita, DAL. And for both Instagram and Twitter, I'm sure you guys know I'm pretty vocal about the games. But if not, if you're a Barca fan that maybe wants a different perspective, hear how Juve's doing, check out the podcast. Like I said, Juventinita at Juventinita DAL for the Instagram, Twitter, and Juventinita Back to Black and White podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Podbean. I think we're on Amazon now. Tune in, whole bunch of other smaller ones if for all of your audio needs. But yeah, keep an eye for the following games, post game after this one. Our boy James the Stallion, he comes on after, and I think we might have a double header. There's a big number coming up, the big 50 episodes. So I think we might be inviting someone else to make it an even special, even better podcast. But again, Rami, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Best of luck tomorrow for both teams. May the best team win. And
Thank you.
yeah, let's hope for a good game, some electricity, and it's nice to be back playing, and it's nice to be back podcasting. So as always, guys, stay tuned, and fino alla fine, forza Juventus. Ciao, guys.
Rami out.